Our last one, I think we had like 25, 30 people. So this is actually a nice little group. So
Okay, I think we're ready to go, Scott.
yeah, so I mean, first of all, let me just introduce myself. If you don't know me, my name is Scott Ball. I'm the president of Fizz here in the US, and really excited to have you guys. This is really meant to be an open, informal kind of discussion. Everybody on this call is either in the process or getting close to the final stages of, signing up with us specifically in the US, and we're really excited to welcome our Canadian folks who are also interested in our brand. Just to give you a little bit of background, just on me, and I know for some of you, you've probably heard this already, but just for some of the new folks. But so for me, I've been part of Fizz now for little over a year now. It's been a great, great year. I've been in the hospitality restaurant industry for 25, 30 years. I've been with brands like Arby's, TJ Cinnamons. I worked with the Snapple Beverage Group. I also spent about 15 years with Dunkin' Donuts and with some other smaller regional brands as well. And when the opportunity came to join Fizz, I was really excited about it. In the beverage world, which I really, really like, and really excited about where we're going with Fizz. So when I got to the brand, we had about 55, 60-ish stores. We're up to about 72 right now. We've got about three more scheduled to open by the end of this year that they're in process right now. And what's really exciting is Justin and his team. We've sold an additional almost 200 units now as we're heading out through the rest of 2025. So we're pretty excited about that. And really, our push has really become not only national, but obviously international with Canada online. And this was a Utah brand, and we've kind of expanded out in the West, and now we're really making our way out east. So we've signed deals in New York, out in the Northeast. We're in the Southeast, Midwest now. We've got Colorado, Oklahoma. So we're really starting to get our stride on the East Coast. Really excited. We just opened up California. Actually, I think Danielle, you're on, right? Danielle,
Yep.
you're going to be up in our Sacramento market. So we're really excited to get into Northern California. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at as a brand. I mean, we're definitely growing, and we're excited about that. And in this last year, we've made a lot of changes to the brand, and really, I just wanted us to become more of just, not just a Utah brand, but really more of a national brand. And that's kind of why we're having conversations with so many, people like yourselves. So we're growing. I'm excited to report that our comp sales were up about 3% year over year, which is really exciting, especially in today's day and age. If you look at some of our competitors and some of the QSR out there, most of our industry has been flat to negative over the last year. So the fact that we're positive, I think, is a real positive thing. And not only is it growing on the sales side, but we're also increasing our guest counts and bringing in more customers, and our ticket is growing at the same time. So these are all exciting pieces to what we're doing. Product innovation is a big part of what we're doing. We just launched a whole cookie line, a Fizz Puff line, which is doing well. And I think we've actually extended some of that up to the Canada market as well. And our product development will continue to work with our Canada partners as well. And whatever we can bring up there, we will do that. So, and I know even in Canada, they're working on some specific items specific to their markets, because obviously we are a little bit different. But that's a little bit about me and about Fizz. Definitely, Justin, I don't know if there's anything you want to add, or even Justin, if there's anything you would like to say, and then we can kind of open it up for some questions.
No, I think I'm good for Canada. So
Yeah, no, I think we're good too. The biggest thing is a lot of people are getting really close to signing more deals too. A lot of people that aren't on here right now because they've already been to a lot of president calls, but this has been awesome just to be working with everybody and build these relationships. But I guess what I want to say is I'm really excited about where Fizz is going. Morale on the corporate level is really, really high. Scott's leadership has been great. He really pushes us to be the best that we can be in every level to support everybody. I'd say one more thing that is crucial to Scott's leadership is that everything that we do is designed around two pillars, whether it is helping to increase sales for the franchisees or to decrease the costs for the franchisees, because that's what it's all about, at least what we can do to make meaningful impact on your stores. So,
Well, thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. Yeah, listen, we're a growing brand, and this is an exciting time for us because we have a lot of open territory right now. So it's almost like a first come, first serve right now. And what's nice, and I'm really talking about the US, Canada's a little bit different, but in the US, for example, we're not just opening up individual stores. We're selling everything in packs, a minimum of 5 stores, depending on the market. And in some cases, we're doing 10, 15, and 20 store deals. So our brand's growing and we're excited about that. And at the same time, we're building from within. We're making sure we're keep working on our supply chain. We're keep working on our marketing, operations, technology. Tech's a big part. It's a big initiative of what we're working on right now. We're actually getting ready to roll out a whole new POS system with a new tech stack. So we're really excited about that. We think it's going to have a real positive impact on the way we do things, how we operate. And at the end of the day, it's all about growing our business, right? So there's an ROI that goes along with that. And we're excited about that. We've got a new loyalty program coming out. We have a new app coming out. So these are a lot of initiatives that are in process right now. And for all of our new operators and new developers, you guys are going to be, you guys will be touching this stuff, right away. It'll all be part of your new builds and so forth. So we're excited about all of that. So, but at this point, I'll open it up to you guys. Anybody, Justin, if you don't.
Let me quickly do like a little breakdown of the franchise fee and just talk about how the franchisees that we're really looking for are like franchisees that can control entire markets. So in most cases, if it's a new market that we're going into, we're looking for minimum commitment of 5 stores, but we will kind of look at this case by case and see if it really makes sense in that area. For example, Allen Whitehouse is this close to signing Atlanta, Georgia for the northern suburbs. And we've run an analysis on the whole market, and we're doing an initial commitment of 7 stores for an area that we've sort of carved out. What that sort of looks like is for us, we have a deposit structure on the franchise fees. So it's 40,000 for the first one, and then it's 30,000 for the second one, and then 20,000 for each one after that. But for the deposit structure, you only need to pay the full franchise fee of the first one at 40,000, and then 50% of the rest in order to lock down that area. So like for Alan's case, doing 7 stores, that's $105,000 up front of a total $170,000 franchise fee that will be paid throughout the build out schedule of the area development agreement that we're signing. So I think that pretty much covers it there.
Yeah, and again, just for the Canada folks, obviously it's a little bit different there. I don't know if Matt, if you want to talk about that, and you can do that offline, but clearly in Canada it is a little different. It's a different structure and whatnot, but that's kind of the way we're structured here in the US.
Cool. So yeah, now I guess it's opening up to questions.
Yeah, it looks like we got a couple of new folks. Ryan, I'm sorry, and Brittany. I don't know if you guys want to do a quick introduction.
Hi, I'm Brittany. I'm from Texas. We're just kind of looking into this. We have a lot of competitors here, but our general area where we are, there's not. There's a nice affluent area that doesn't have a whole lot, and we're looking to try to jump in that market. So
Great.
just trying to
Brittany,
get all of our information.
what market are you in, Brittany?
We are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we're in the mid-cities.
Okay, great. Welcome.
Thanks.
And I see, is that Douglas?
Hello. Yeah, my name is Douglas Higa, and we are in the Columbus, Ohio market in Cincinnati, kind of that corridor. I just barely tuned in. So did you just want an introduction or?
Yeah, I just want to, I mean, we know who you are, but we just figured you just gave a quick, nice introduction. So I
Oh, okay.
appreciate that. So, and by the way, you guys were just in Utah, weren't you on vacation?
We were, yeah. We
Oh,
just, as a matter of fact, Aaron's catching a red eye back tonight. So
okay.
we were, I was there last weekend. We go there quite a bit. That's where we were all raised. So we got family in Utah. So
Great. Great, great, great. Awesome. Well, welcome. All right. Anybody else out there?
Yeah, and if you want to put questions into the chat, I can monitor those and have
Yeah, this is meant to really be pretty informal, so please feel free to ask away. We'll answer whatever we can, and if we can't, we'll certainly get you the information. But I don't know, Alan, you always seem to have a lot of questions. Maybe you want to start us off today.
Yeah, I'll start. So you just talked about rolling out new loyalty program, POS system, and tech stack. Can you maybe talk a little bit? And I think you said app too. Can you maybe talk more about the timing of that and what that looks like?
Yeah, so actually our POS system is actually in test right now, but we're actually at the final stages. But we're now with all our new stores, we are going with our new POS. It's actually a company called Q. So we're really excited about that. In addition to that, we've contracted with a company called Punch. They're going to be managing our loyalty program and also our app. That is scheduled to launch in January. So we're kind of working side by side to get all that done. That'll obviously include, a new gift card program, all the different components that go into that. So we're super excited about that. Punch is an amazing company. They actually do the McDonald's loyalty program and some other big QSR. So we feel they're perfect for what we need and where we want to go. And we're just literally putting the final touches on it and to launch that come January.
Perfect. So timing would be great then early next
Yeah,
year.
so for you guys, it's
Yeah.
already, and by the way, as part of our POS integration, we've also added an inventory management piece.
Oh,
We've
good.
added a labor management piece. So these are integrations that'll be part of it. And for all the new guys, for all of you, you guys you're going to start with it from day one. For existing units, they're going to be transitioning into those new platforms. But for you guys, it'll be pretty seamless, and it'll be just flip the switch and we're ready to go.
Great, and that's great. That's got the inventory and labor parts.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons we switched from where our current provider. We weren't able to get that. We couldn't integrate for what we wanted, what we felt was really effective for the business. So for the inventory management, we're using oh God, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name. Synergy Solutions. And for our labor management piece, we're using 7Shifts is the software package that we ended up going with. So, but again, it'll all be integrated through the POS, and we're excited about that.
Perfect. Cool. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Ryan asked a question in the chat. What is average sales per store projecting for 2025, and which locations are the top performers? Example, Utah or outside of Utah?
Yeah, great question. I don't know. Has everybody received the FDD? Has everybody? So what I'll say is it's kind of a range. We've got it's interesting. So what I will say is when I first came on and I realized this is a very Utah centric brand. And one of the things that I needed to really do, and I got to be honest, I was a little nervous about, is we had to be able to prove this concept outside of Utah and outside of the West. And the good news is that all of our stores that we're opening up now are some of our highest volume locations. So even though we've got some really solid stores in the Utah market, but we've opened up in Vegas recently. We've actually opened in Washington State. We've opened, we're getting ready to open up in Colorado, Oklahoma. These stores are really opening up well. We have a store in Ohio, one store operator out in Ohio. And even though, it took him a little bit of time to kind of hit his groove, but he's actually doing really, really well right now. So we're really excited about where the brand's going. I will tell you, we have some stores that are doing, north of 40,000 a week. And then we've got stores that obviously are everywhere, everywhere in between there. So we're excited about that. Again, it's all in the FDD, so you can definitely take a look at that. but we are, we're hitting our stride right now. So we're excited about that. And we're excited about the stores that we're opening up. And I think a lot of that goes to, we're just better at what we do. We're a better operations company. I think we're a better marketing company. And the fact that we're adding from a product innovation standpoint as well, we're going to continue to drive the business. So, it's kind of Justin alluded to earlier. My job is to continue to grow our business, and we're going to do that either through bringing in new customers or getting more out of every customer that walks in. And growing our average ticket and product innovation go hand in hand. So the more products that we can offer, the more we're going to sell. And what we're also excited about, we're actually rolling out our new menu in the US in November 1st. And as part of that, we actually have some bulk options now for some of our food items. So for our cookie platform and our puff platform that we just launched, now you can go and you can get 20 puffs and you can get 6 or 12 cookies, or so you can bulk that. So that's exciting. So we're really hoping that's going to drive our ticket even higher, and that's what we want. So yeah, great question.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
How do you guys, yes, Melissa here. How do you guys handle, for instance, in the Puget Sound area, we tend to be very landlocked because we're surrounded by not only the Puget Sound, but military bases. So retail space, I feel like, could be a challenge, finding not only the perfect retail space, but cost-wise. How do you guys handle, say, if we're having issues finding a retail space that makes sense? I think I read somewhere or heard somewhere that you have 6 months from the time of signing. Maybe that's wrong.
Yeah, so that's wrong. So a couple things. Number one, don't think you're special in Washington State with real estate, because it's a challenge everywhere.
Okay.
So that's number one. But yeah, so a couple things. Number one, listen, generally speaking, we look for drive-through. 85% of our business comes through our drive-throughs for the stores that have it. So drive-through is important, but we also recognize that, real estate is a challenge everywhere. Seriously, it literally is everywhere. I don't care if you're in Atlanta. We just spoke to a group out of Montana who's like, I can't find real estate. Like it just doesn't exist. It's a challenge everywhere. So that's why, we give you different options. And one of the things that we're looking at is, first of all, drive-through is important. If you can do freestanding, great. We're actually working on a model right now. We're actually going to have that released literally in the next few weeks. And I know Alan's excited about this, whatever, but we're going to have either a smaller footprint, a 600 or 700 square foot drive-through only model. That might be modular. It could be brick and mortar, but either way, we're going to have a smaller version that we can kind of stick on a pad somewhere. So we're really excited about that. Obviously, inline is important. If you guys have real estate and you've got a good anchor, location, and you've got some inline opportunities, we think you can have some success there as well. There are some mall and kiosk units. We actually got some mall units here in the US. And, again, malls are, they could be a challenge, but if you find the right one, then, you could be very successful. We actually have a mall opening up literally in the next few weeks in Colorado. So we're excited about that. The other thing is we also just did a deal with Walmart. So for Walmart if you've been in a Walmart, they have a lot of retail space in the front of their stores. So we just did a deal with Walmart where they've got literally hundreds and hundreds of spaces available throughout the country. Once you come on board, we'll introduce you to our Walmart people, and we actually have a list of units and what's available throughout the country, and we can go look. And what's really nice about that is we've negotiated a flat rate. So for example, it doesn't matter how big it is, it's $3,500 a month. That includes all utilities and so forth. And that's a pretty good deal. And again, we don't want everybody to be just, only doing Walmart, but we think it's a great opportunity for filler units in certain communities and so forth. What's nice about Walmart's is, especially in some of the outlying non-urban areas, Walmarts are kind of like the center of like, their little universe. So, they've got the local bank in there, and they've got the hairdresser in there, and they've got, Subways in there, and sometimes McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts. So the fact that we've potentially got some space in there, we're really excited about. So we've got a couple of deals right now that we're working on. Our first one's with Walmart. So we're excited to get those open this year. But again, there's different options out there, and we just have to work together, and you'll work directly with our real estate team. And obviously, what I recommend to everybody is go out and find yourself a really good commercial real estate broker that knows your market. We also have some contacts. We work with some national firms that can also, help you out. But really go out in the community and see what's out there. And we recognize that it's expensive, and we know that, space is limited. And that's why we're kind of redoing the way we do things a little bit. If you look at it 5 or 10 years ago, everybody wanted these big spaces with the big dining rooms and a lot of seating. The pandemic and COVID really changed that, and consumer behavior has changed. So as a result of that, the last unit that we just built and just opened was 1,000 square feet. It only has 4 seats in the front, and the rest of it is dedicated to the back of the house and drive through. So, we understand that the cost of renting is getting more expensive. So if we can minimize the space and value engineer that space, we think that'll be a benefit for you guys as well. But listen, we'll work with you. And, to your question about you only have 6 months, that's not the case. We'll work with you. When you sign up, say, if you do a development agreement with us, we'll work with you together to come up with, some dates. Right. But I will tell you, for example, let's just say that we want your first store open in the first year. If you're running at 12, 13 months and you're not going to be open yet, that's okay. We'll work through that. The only thing we want to see is just that the work's being done and the effort's being done to kind of get to that point. But we'll work with you guys. But generally speaking, we'll have all that way in advance. I mean, some people, and again, it depends on the market. Some areas, we've done 5-store deals where we do, it's a 5 or 6 year, build out period. Sometimes it's longer. It just depends really on the market. So.
Okay. Also, I've only ever been to a Fizz in Utah. Is there variabilities in like pricing based on different markets in the country, or is it level pricing wise across the board?
Yeah, great question. So just so you know, as a franchisor, we can't set pricing. What we do is we put out what's called like suggested retail pricing. And what we've done is we've actually created tiers. So Utah is typically in a tier 1. And then we've got some of these outlying markets that are either tier 2, tier 3. We've actually created 4 tiers right now. But having said that, for example, our suggested retail price in your community, we may say, you know what, it's $3 for a soda, but you say, you know what, I think I can get $3.29. Go for it. We'll give you all the data, we'll give you all the information, we'll give you what our thoughts are, but at the end of the day, you'll set your own pricing.
Okay.
All right. And by the way, depending on your market, and by the way, there is a store in Washington State. I would definitely take a drive out to what's it, Richfield or
Richland?
Richland,
Yeah.
yes. We're in Richfield also. Take a ride out to Richland. He does really well, by the way. Like he's got a great operation there. And his pricing is a little bit different than quote unquote Utah pricing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Scott, I've got a question from Gabriel. This is talking back about the question from Alan about the application. So will these new applications introduce additional costs to the franchisees above and beyond what's in the current disclosure? And I'd love to hear Scott's perspective on the Fizz vision. Soda and flavorings are a commodity, yet Fizz has a mass appeal versus other soda shops. What do you feel gives Fizz the competitive advantage long term? Is it the product innovation, marketing that you just mentioned?
Yeah, so let's take the first question. So yeah, everything is outlined in our FDD, and there's usually a range in there. So those costs are outlined in there, not specific to the new tech stack, but generally speaking, the costs are all outlined there. Yeah, so the current POS system, I will tell you, the new POS system, I should say, will be a little bit more expensive than the existing system that we have, but the functionality is tremendously better, with our new system, and being able to offer these other integrations, labor management, inventory management, and things like that. There is obviously a cost to doing that, but clearly we think there's an ROI and a benefit to doing that. In regards to like the vision, yeah, it's a great question. Listen, it's funny, we are a beverage company. It's funny, I spent a lot of time with our three big partners, and that's Coke, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper. And we actually just had our annual meeting review with Coca-Cola. And it's really interesting. And it's funny when you look overall at these brands, and everybody thinks, soda consumption in this country is growing, and it's growing for a number of reasons. Number one, these companies have gotten smart. It's not just about the traditional Coke, Diet Coke, and whatnot. Now they're adding, water-based drinks. They're adding energy drinks. They're adding, a whole bunch of different, probiotic drinks is the new thing that's coming out. We're actually testing that right now. So there's tremendous opportunity to continue to grow. We're not just a soda shop anymore. I really consider us more like a beverage shop than we are just soda. Soda is still a big part of the majority of what we do, but consumer behavior is changing, right? And what's interesting is, where people used to come in and get a Coke or a Pepsi, now they can get a Coke Zero, or they can get a sugar-free Sprite, or they can get all these other options out there. Those didn't exist 5 years ago. So the fact that these companies are now offering these types of beverages is really been a benefit to us. And and how do we get that message out? Really, it's marketing, it's product innovation. To your point, we got to continue to market. We got to continue to reach our consumers. When I first came on, we were pretty much just a soda shop, and now we're starting to bring in some food items and getting that attachment. So there's no reason why somebody can't walk out with a 32-ounce soda, but also walk out with 2 cookies or 3 puffs or some dough bites or some of the other products that we're working on. And by the way, from a product innovation standpoint, we look at it in different day parts. Like we have the morning, we have the afternoon, we have that snack, and then we have, that late in the day part. And we're trying to hit all of them. So if somebody comes in, and by the way, people line up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 in the morning for our product. Well, maybe they're going to walk out with a soda and a breakfast burrito, or, something like that. These are the kinds of things that, we don't want them to come to us for one thing and have to go down the street to somewhere else to pick up a food item. If they can get it all in one spot, that's a win for us. So product innovation is huge. Supply chain management is really big for us, and clearly marketing. And I will tell you, when I came on board, I ripped up our marketing strategy and we totally redid it. So this year we've done things very, very differently. We look at it on monthly windows for the most part. And between product innovation, LTOs, which are limited time offerings, we're constantly marketing both food and beverage at the same time. So there's always going to be like a primary message and a secondary message, because we want to make sure that customers are getting that. But food is a big part of what we do. It's a big part of our product innovation right now. This summer, we actually rolled out for the first time 2 LTOs. We actually worked directly with the Pepsi R&D team, and we created a frozen horchata drink and a pina colada drink, and it went off really well. And people are really excited about it. And, by coming up with new stuff, it creates excitement in the marketplace and consumers get excited. Those were LTOs. They came and they went. In 30, 60 days, they were gone. And that was the point of it. It's kind of like, if you guys are familiar with McDonald's, does anybody know what the most successful LTO product that McDonald's rolls out every year?
McRib.
The McRib. It's just, they bring it out, it's here for 30 days and it goes away. And does it create excitement? And that's kind of what we want to do, with our LTO program as well, is just be able to sprinkle in some, some new and some fun stuff and some good drinks, and have some fun with it. Hope I answered that question.
Any Canadian questions for Scott, Imnad, Shakira, Marlon?
Yeah, listen, we're excited to come up to Canada. We think it's going to be a terrific market. Our consumers are, they're pretty. It's funny, like when I was up there, with Matt recently, I was shocked at how many people really even heard of Fizz. up there. So we're excited about it. Listen, I know it's a little bit of a different market. I know real estate's a little bit different, but at the end of the day, I think your consumers are really going to take to it. And soda's big up there. And it's funny, cold weather, you would think, cold weather climates typically do very well in the beverage world. So I think soda's going to do well there. And by the way, when we sprinkle in some of our hot beverages that we're actually coming out with a hot chocolate line right now. So we're really excited about that. And again, what's nice is Matt and his team, we're working together to kind of create some products specifically for Canada as well. So, and getting your input eventually is going to be part of that. So we're excited about that. I think Canada is going to be a really strong market for us, and we're excited about it.
Are there any lessons learned? It seems like Canada rollout's gone really well. I know I follow you guys on Instagram, and like phenomenal bringing in influencers, etc., and your stores. Any lessons we can get from how that's working?
I'm happy to share a couple anecdotes. And so for context, we've been operating for just about 9 months now in Canada, in Toronto specifically. A couple interesting anecdotes. One, a lot of customers in the first couple of months would come up and say, which one is the dirty soda? So they were like, what that tells me is like the word dirty soda, the category is really becoming mass relevant. So I loved that. There was already like a built-in clientele who was curious and interested. Second anecdote is Dr. Pepper is not a big seller in Canada, but it's one of the top selling beverages on the Fizz menu. Well, it's become the same top selling beverage on the Canadian menu as well, which tells me they're really resonating with the brand and using it very similarly to the way that US consumers use the brand south of the border, which I really like to see. We've taken a slightly different approach in terms of real estate just because of the nuances of drive-thrus in Canada. And what I've been stunned by, and I spent almost 20 years working in the restaurant business, the cost of goods sold, the food cost and the labor cost in this business model are unlike anything I've ever seen. It is, when I say it's so easy to control your food cost and your labor cost relative to any sort of QSR, it's such a treat, which allows you to actually redeploy some of those working dollars into marketing to drive increased brand awareness and ultimately drive sales. And so we've found that we can take some of those labor and food cost savings, reallocate to marketing dollars to drive more and more sales. And so we're excited to continue to flex that morning day part as we start to expand in sort of more of the 7-day open breakfast, lunch, dinner type of real estate opportunity. And I think the customers are going to resonate in that sort of morning day part in the same way that we've witnessed it in the US.
Yeah, it's a great call, Matt. It's fun. We didn't talk about it. And Matthew and I have both been in the restaurant business a long time. This is an easy concept, generally speaking, from an operations standpoint. And to Matthew's point, when it is easier to do things, we don't have a full kitchen. We're not cooking stuff off in the back. We're literally pouring sodas from a fountain. So it's really not that different. But to have the ability to take those labor dollars and deploy them, from a marketing standpoint and from a community standpoint, that's huge. And I will say this, we talked about marketing, and listen, we can do a ton of national, regional, type marketing. But at the end of the day, the most successful franchisees are the ones that are actually embedded in their local communities. So it's so important to be part of, the local schools, the local police, the local churches, synagogues, little league teams, whatever. When you're embedded in your community, it really does make a difference. And that's a fun part too. So, I think that's a big part of what we do. And I think that'll help you guys be successful.
Yeah, and by the way, we've got somebody that's designated to working with all of our franchisees on the local marketing aspect, and her name is Kelsey, and she'll meet with you as many times as you need to help you develop that solid local marketing strategy.
Yeah, and in addition to marketing, we also have a whole PR campaign. We have a PR team as well, so which we do a lot of work when you guys are first opening, but there's also an ongoing PR piece, as well, in addition to social media, influencers and so forth. So we'll put a whole plan together. We'll work directly with you guys to put that plan together, because every market's a little bit different, but at the same time, we'll make sure we put that together.
Let's see, there's a couple questions. Justin Atwell asked if we'll be adding more hot beverage choices, which I think you kind of answered that with our hot chocolate line. I don't know if there's anything else.
Yeah, I'll just touch on that real quick. So we've done a lot of work and analysis on, people saying, oh, we should be in the hot coffee business. And, what we found is that we're a soda shop, right? And you can go to Tim Hortons, you can go to Dunkin' Donuts, you can go to Starbucks. These guys are in the hot coffee or the hot beverage business. So we didn't feel that we had the credibility to really be in that and to be able to compete, with those guys. Having said that, coffee flavors are big. So we're actually working on some coffee flavored frozen drinks. We're working on some coffee flavored even sodas. I know that sounds a little weird, but believe it or not, you can put some flavored shots inside of a soda. It's actually not that bad. So we believe in the coffee flavor, but we don't think we should be, quote unquote, in the hot coffee business. Having said that, we do think we have the right to be. We were trying to do something a little bit unique and, what can differentiate us from our competition. And we felt that hot chocolate was one of those. So we've actually just coming out with a hot chocolate line. It's launching on November 1st. I think we have 5 main drinks that'll be on our menu. And then we're going to sprinkle in, we've got an LTO coming out in the holiday season, like a peppermint hot chocolate that's coming out in December that we're excited to put in as an LTO. But we do think we have the right to do that. So we're actually toying with having like 2 menus, almost like a summer and a winter menu. So our winter menu would focus on hot chocolate, and then our summer menus will turn around and we'll focus a little bit more on the frozen side. So, and by the way, we have a frozen hot chocolate now, which is phenomenal. It's one of our best-selling frozen drinks. So, and people really, really like it. So we're excited about that.
Next would be, what kind of marketing or promoting does Fizz do to promote the soda drinking culture?
Yeah, again, it's part of our daily what we do. So, from a creative standpoint, like I said, we do everything on a monthly window type basis. So every month is pretty much a different promotion or a group of promotions. Usually they're categorized together to kind of create some kind of a theme. So we do that. There's a lot of creative that goes along with that. That's product innovation. There's LTOs. But in addition to that, everything we do, we promote on social media. We actually partner with iHeartRadio. They have a social media division. They actually manage all of our social media from a national standpoint, but also you guys will have your own Instagram, Facebook, Twitter pages or X pages, TikTok. We'll do some of that content. We'll provide a lot of that content for you, but we also encourage you guys to do stuff on your own at the local level. So that's a big part of what we do. We're working with influencers now. It's interesting. Influencers, and I know Matt touched on it, if you find the right ones, they can be really, really successful. What's interesting about influencers, we're trying to take it more at an organic level because it gets very, very expensive to work with some of these influencers. But at the same time, we're looking at it. We actually just did. It's funny. We actually have it coming up 2 weeks. We're partnering with NASCAR. I don't know if you guys know Frankie Munoz from Malcolm in the Middle. He's actually from Arizona, and he had heard that, we opened up a Fizz there, and he got excited, and his team reached out to us. They're actually doing a NASCAR event in Phoenix, actually on Halloween, October 31st. So we actually are working with Frankie. We're actually putting the Fizz logo on his car. He's actually coming out to our new location in Gilbert, and he's going to be signing autographs. We're doing a whole social media thing. We got an influencer event going on simultaneous to that. So we're thinking outside the box. Like, we want to see what else we can do to kind of create some excitement. We're also working with, if you guys are familiar with pickleball, the PPA and the MLP are it's like the fastest growing sport in the world right now. We are getting ready to partner with them in different cities across the country. Actually, Alan, I don't know if I told you, but Atlanta is one of their big markets. We're actually scheduling to do an event next spring. So hopefully,
Oh, that'd be
by
great.
then, yeah. So we're looking at their schedule, we're looking at their thing, and there's really an opportunity for us to partner. They're an up and coming emerging brand, and we're an up and coming and emerging brand. So we feel there's like a really cool partnership there. So that kind of stuff as well. And lastly, I'll just say real quick, we just did an event with, have you guys heard of the Blue Man Group? Famous group. They had a big anniversary recently in Vegas. They reached out to us and we did a whole event. We actually created a Blue Man Group drink, a soda, and we had a lot of fun with that. And not only did we promote it at our store, they actually promoted it at their theater in Vegas, at their place. So it was a lot of fun. So we're looking outside the box to try to do things like that as well. And there's just plenty of opportunities. We're evaluating everything, and as we continue to grow and the dollars are there, we'll have more marketing dollars to spend, nationally. So we're excited about that, and there's going to be a tremendous opportunity to continue to promote our brand.
Hey Scott, Ryan Mertens here. Got a question for you. Besides your soda SKUs and what you're introducing as far as new liquid products, how many SKUs do you guys have now? And what are you planning on taking those to in the next 12 months? And are those going to be regional? And is each franchisee going to have to be required to purchase that SKU from Fizz, regardless of what they feel would work best in their market?
Yeah, great questions. Go a couple things. Number one, we've got 24 base sodas that we require of everybody. By the way, we're getting ready for a new menu rollout on November 1st. We've actually changed some things up. We've actually taken away some stuff. So, for example, there was a big. Have you heard of Big Red? We actually are removing it because it just wasn't moving, and because we couldn't move the product fast enough, we were having some supply chain issues with it. We're putting, Fanta back on our line. We're putting a new energy drink on our line. So, but generally speaking, we've got 24 base drinks. Another example is, right now we have 50, I think we're at 58 flavor shots. We're actually dropping that down to 30 something. We went through our menu. We went and said, look, well, what are we selling? What are we not selling? What's sitting on the shelf for 6 months? And we did a whole analysis. It literally took us months to do that, but we've now cut it back. So we are removing some things that we know aren't moving, and we're adding things as needed. Our R&D team right now is, we got a lot of stuff we're working on. Actually, this month we've got a whole Dr. Pepper promotion. We actually worked with Dr. Pepper on creating some new drinks specifically for the month of October. They're LTOs. They'll be here, and then they'll be gone. But generally speaking, that's kind of how we work. I'll give you an example. So we were using Red Bull to make some of our beverages. Red Bull's very expensive. And with Red Bull, we were required to have a certain presence on our menu, which was taking up a lot of space. So we decided that this wasn't going to work for us. So we actually reached out to Pepsi, and Pepsi actually worked with us, and we're private labeling a product called Fizz Alert. And that's going to replace Red Bull on our menu. The best part about it is, honestly, it tastes better, and it's about a third of the cost. So all of a sudden, these energy drinks get very, very expensive to make. And the fact that we can, cut the costs pretty significantly, is a big win for us. And that gives us some flexibility to do other things as well. So we're excited. So that's an example where we had to create a valve for our Fizz Alert, product. We had to remove something to put that on there. But that's something we look at pretty regularly, and we'll continue to evaluate things that are moving. We're gonna change them out. To your question about regionality, yes. So the answer is absolutely. So as we grow as a brand and we go into new markets, perfect example is like we're going to the Southeast. Man, if I don't have sweet tea on the menu, guys, like they're not going to even like show up. So that's an example of we've got to make sure that we've got that product. So as we get into some of these markets, and we know, in the Northeast, the Midwest, the Southeast, there are going to be things that are going to be specific to those markets, and we're going to make sure that we find the opportunity to put those out for you guys.
Scott, it's Matt.
So Scott, a follow up to that, then based off of that Big Red, like I said, when you guys roll out these LTOs or whatnot, am I required to buy that from you guys? Or
Yes.
Obviously Big Red will sell better somewhere than not. then when that big red gets pulled off that menu, is that my loss, or do you guys credit me back part of that loss? And does Fizz as a corporation help me eat that loss, or is that on me?
No, there's no loss because we've given plenty of notice to say, hey, Big Red is going away in the next 6 months. So our franchisees are well aware of this months in advance. So hopefully they've drained out their inventory so they're not quote unquote stuck with it. But we'll allow them to continue to sell it until they don't have anything left. So yes. And in regards to LTOs, yes, they are required items. We want everybody, look, we're a brand. We want everybody acting as a brand. We want to make sure that our customers, no matter what store they go into, the core products are all there and being served.
Scott, it's just to reiterate, we actually, if you recall, we rolled out with the streamlined menu because we had this sort of first chance make a new impression, and we wanted to start where you ultimately were envisioning taking the brand. And when I tell you it's an extremely productive menu in terms of cross utilization, it's so productive that the only thing we've ever thrown out in the 9 or 10 months we've been operating are a couple lime wedges here and there, but like nothing else goes bad, and everything gets used across different categories of the menu.
Yep.
So to your point, it's been really thoughtful innovation around inventory management. And I think that's probably why you heard my opening statement that the cost of goods sold, the food cost it's the actual and the theoretical are identical. There are no surprises, which is so foreign to my past life that it's just a total treat.
Right.
So I'm excited for your US partners and obviously this new group to be able to roll out that more efficient menu as you do that.
Thank you.
So you guys have a 0% food loss, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Nothing goes bad except for if we cut too many limes, we don't use them the next day. Nothing else gets thrown out. The food menu is heated and served just in time, so there's no wastage on that, and there's no wastage on any of the drink products. Dairy, just first in, first out, recycles through, but we've thrown nothing out other than some lime wedges.
Great.
Here's a Canada question. Are we looking at the same real estate challenges in Canada that we are faced in USA? And when do we foresee hot chocolate line being released? Would that be included for Canadians as well? Because it will be very beneficial.
I'll take that. Hot chocolate, 100% in time for, in fact, we're rolling it out in the next month, I think, like in time for fall and winter.
Yep.
I'm excited about it because I actually think it's going to drive some of the food day part. I think it's going to be a very nice complement with like dipping your cookie or dipping some of your things into the hot chocolate. And I am aligned with Scott that the hot chocolate is differentiated and unique versus like trying to play in the coffee space, which is highly competitive. So I love the hot chocolate category that we're introducing. As relates to real estate, short answer is no. It's just, function of timing and real estate cycles, but we happen to just be in a better place at the moment in terms of real estate availability across the country.
Okay, and then another question was, what other products are coming in the future? Like healthier products are coming, like any protein options for food or anything like that?
And actually a question on gluten-free, Scott. There was one, I think Shakira had a question about gluten-free as you think about healthier menu innovation.
Yeah, it's funny. Thank you for that. We're actually starting to have that conversation on gluten-free. It's interesting. Some of the partners are some of our manufacturers that we're working with. We've kind of reached out to them to see what some of the options are. So that is something we're definitely taking a look at. As far as other healthier options, we're actually looking at some bars right now. Again, whether you consider this healthy, but we are looking at like a breakfast burrito. We've got some, there's kind of into two categories, kind of the sweet and the savory kind of a thing. So, definitely looking at some stuffed croissants. We're trying to find things that are a little bit unique to us. So these puffs that we're working on right now are really, really good. It's interesting when we originally tested them, we rolled them. The name was we called them beignets. but we were struggling. People didn't know what a beignet was, so we decided to change the name. But I will tell you, the puffs are doing, fabulous. So right now we have 2 flavors. We have a cookie butter and a chocolate, and we're getting ready now we're going to eventually roll out some additional flavors as LTOs to kind of create some excitement in that category as well. So same thing with the cookies. We currently have we have a cookies and cream, a sugar cookie, and a chocolate chip cookie, and we've already in the process of looking at some other flavors that we can bring out throughout the year as well. So yeah, so there's a lot going on the R&D side, both on the beverage and the food. Clearly, healthier options is a big part of it. But at the same time, we also, and again, bulk is a big piece of that as well. That's something that we're getting ready to roll out literally in the next couple of weeks. So we're excited for that as well. So yeah, TBD, but there's literally, I think we've got about 15 or 20 products right now that we're working on in our test kitchen. And my goal is to have a 12-month calendar in advance. So stuff that we're working on now will roll out a year from now. And that's the way it should be. We need to be ahead of the game, and as consumers' behavior changes, we're going to change with it. All right. We got to be out in front of it. We got to make sure we test everything properly. And what'll be nice is we'll be able to test some things now in Canada. We can test some things in other markets because, what may work well in, say, Utah may not work well in Atlanta, Georgia, or whatnot. So that's where that regional component comes in. And we know that as we get bigger and as we continue to grow, we've got to understand all these different markets simultaneously.
I mentioned to Scott the McFlurry was created in Canada, and so my goal is to find the next McFlurry for the Fizz system and bring that to the world. We're focused on some unique Canadianizing that ultimately could scale globally for you guys.
Great.
Hey Scott, I have a follow-up question to that. For the stores where you've introduced these products, and I live in Utah full time, so I go to Fizz weekly. For the stores where you've introduced these hard products, have you seen your year-over-year growth more through soda sales or through your food product offerings? And what percentage, let's just say your top 10% of stores that are at 1.1 revenue or higher, what percentage is based off of these new SKUs the last couple of years that you guys have really focused harder on the food offerings? What percentage of sales is that?
Yeah, great question. So I will tell you is the food offerings are really in the last 6 months is really kind of where we ramped them up. We saw a significant increase. And by the way, we only rolled out the cookies and the puffs August 1st. And so far that that's equated to about 1 to 1.5 points of growth, since August 1st. So we're pretty excited about that. Right now, we're up a little over 3% year over year. And we think the food is having a big part. We've seen ticket go up as a result of it as well. So, again, people are coming in for their 32-ounce, drink. Now they're walking out, with a food item, and that's big. That's what we want. Like that's at the end of the day, we know what our core is. We know it's beverage, but anytime we can get somebody to walk out, with a food item, that's a win for us. So yeah, so we anticipate it continuing to be a big thing, and as we continue to bring in some of these newer products as well, we continue to see. We hopefully that growth will continue.
Scott, how much liberty do franchisees have to offer drinks that are popular in their market but not on the menu?
Yeah, so here's what I'll tell you, and Matt can probably talk about this as well, but 80% of our drinks are actually customized. So even though we may have our 15, 20 or so drinks listed on our menu, most people walk in and say, okay, I want a Diet Coke with, strawberry flavor and cream. That's, there's no name for that. That's just what people want. So even, and kind of our tagline is your drink your way. So we recognize that, right? So they're just coming in, ordering a size, picking their base soda, and then they're kind of off and running. So again, we created drinks and we have literally hundreds of drinks on our menu. And people will become familiar with those over time. But again, 80%, and again, you can't put everything on the menu. The menu's physically, the real estate's just not there. So what we do list on the menu typically is some of our best-selling drinks, but again, 80% of our drinks are customized. So that's kind of how we roll, and that's how we want to roll. That's what we want. We want our customers to be able to be unique and have fun and, you know, create what they want to create.
Okay, well, I think that's it, Scott.
Great. Well, listen, I appreciate everybody being on today. I always enjoy doing these calls. Really excited to have Matthew and Justin and Shakira and Marlon on from Canada. For any of you US guys, if you guys want to open stores in Canada, give Matt a call. But no, listen, we're excited about it. We think the brand's really positioned in a really good spot, and you know, we're gonna do this together, right? You know, one thing I say to everybody, we're only as good as our franchisees. So, you know, if our franchisees are successful, you know, the brand will be successful. And this is a partnership. You know, we're gonna work together. And, you know, we make mistakes and, you know, things happen, but generally speaking, you know, it's a partnership. We work well together, and we're gonna solve. But you guys are at an exciting time where, you know, even though the brand's been around, you know, 10, 11 years, this is a relatively new brand, and we're just starting to grow. And most of you guys have pretty much especially the US, you kind of have the pick of the litter as far as your locations and where you want to be. So we're excited to have you guys, and we're excited to be part of the journey with you.
Just one question. Whom do I contact for Canadian location?
Hi, Nikunji. It's Matt. I'll put my email in the thread. If you can you access that? Or Justin, have you met Nikunji?
No, I haven't yet.
I have spoken once to Justin Anderson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Justin will be in touch with you.
Yeah, I can get you guys in connection with each other.
Oh, okay, perfect. And yeah, always. Thank you.
Well, listen, we do these calls pretty regularly, so feel free. We'll definitely invite you guys through your process, and looking forward to meeting you. And I look forward to really coming to your openings. That's the fun part.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Scott.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Enjoy.
See ya.
Thank you.